Yeah. Two. Yeah. Aye. I'm jacking the beat, you calling the cops. The yapping is cheap, I call you the ops. The rapping is hating, it's all cause of pop. You get a leak for the ball, get a drop. Feel like I'm wrong when I double it back, cause I'm making it harder to catch that. But I covered the ticket, I call you to visit. You tipping and hit up the cash app. Baby girl, been around for it, yeah. In the old days, I was stuck in old ways. Never really trying to flip the old page. Young man tripping at an old age. Thinking I was flicking, had a low wage. Late the bro days, then a slow praise. Thinking it'd be different, it would gon' change. Then it really didn't, it's a cold game, yeah. Ay, all I really wanted was the money in the pocket. God over money, but the money ain't the topic. Like Bill Doe and the money gotta stop it. Kid need food and the whip need juice. I'ma get these views when the work hard, play hard, homeboy, everybody ain't calling out. Got a mouthpiece from the southeast, if you want scrap, stall him out. If you don't know what I'm talking about, then I feel good, man, I'm balling out. I'm a rich man with a rich fam, Christ bars got me out of mama house. And I bless God, give thanks. Bless God, give thanks. Bless God, give thanks. Bless God, give thanks. Big God, big grace. Big God, big grace. Big God, big grace. Big God, big grace. Bless God, give thanks. Bless God, give thanks. Bless God, give thanks. Bless God, give thanks. Big God, big grace.
What it do, y'all? It's your partner looking old so fresh, cold, clean. You see that thing, guys, and take that damn picture for your mom and them guys. And I want to welcome you guys to the Countermove podcast. We'll look at life from a wide perspective. Let me go and say this right now. If you're on Instagram, guys, I don't know. I have reached out to Instagram. I don't know why. When it comes to live streams, it does not it pauses. But don't worry. Will we air it? Don't worry about it at all, guys. After this, guys, so we're gonna go ahead and exit Instagram. I don't know what's going on, but it's all good. But let's get into this thing, guys. Sorry about that, guys. Boom, let's stop it now. Whew, man, this is gonna be a very good type of Countermove podcast, guys. The reason why is because of the fact that this is a subject that I get asked a lot about, and I'm honored by you guys asking me the questions because it's people are feeling it in this area, and so the one question that I get a lot of the times, guys, is it's really centered around the economy. Like Dale, man, what's going on, man? What do you think things going? How you think things going to happen? What's going on? I get these questions a lot concerning what's going on. Well, let's dive into this thing real fast, guys, because I'm hearing a lot of verbiage about a word called Bidenomics. All right, Bidenomics. So you have the president of the United States talking about, hey, things are going well, things are going awesome. Hey, Bidenomics is working, and people are like, I just don't see it. I don't know what's going on. So I get asked these questions about, Dale, what are your thoughts about the economy? What things going on, interest rates? When it comes to debt, housing. I get this question all the time. So I said, okay, let's take a closer look at Bidenomics. All right. And let's take a good, fair assessment. Now, before I dive into this thing, do me two things. Number one, if you could share, subscribe to the channel. Let that algorithm know that you like what you're seeing, guys, no matter what platform you're on. And number two, if you're looking for a debate, guys, do me a quick favor every time. You can hit that X and get out of here, guys. This is about looking at things from a wise perspective, linking the reason together, and prescribing the right solution, guys. All right. So let's dive in. My whole thing is I wanted to keep it as simple as possible because economics at times, depending on how you present it, can be very convoluted, difficult to understand. So I had to kind of break it down a little bit to where, number one, it is fair and balanced. And number two, that you understand the difference between what's being communicated by the administration and the actual facts. At times they may marry, at times they may conflict. But I wanted you to be able to see both sides and then begin to come to a solution. All right, guys? So let's dive into this thing real quickly, guys. Now, here we go. Let's take a quick look at what is Bidenomics, right? Let's dive into this. Well, I think there's nobody better than the president to be able to tell us exactly what Bidenomics is. So, Mr. President, tell us what this Bidenomics is. Okay, here we go. Let's see what's going down.
Bidenomics is working.
Once there was Reaganomics. Now America's current president has an economic doctrine all his own. But what exactly is Bidenomics? The man himself has a definition.
Okay.
First, making smart investments in America. Second,
so right there, investments. So he's saying investments. Whenever there's an investment, guys, come on, let's go on with it. There should be a return on the investment. Okay, whenever there's an investment, there's an ROI. Okay, let's keep going. That's number one. Number two, here we go.
Educating and empowering American workers to grow the middle class.
So he said number two, educating Americans to empower the growth of the middle class. So he's saying this investment right now with the ROI. Number two, he wants to begin to educate the masses so that the middle class grows. Okay, right? Here we go. Let's keep going.
And third, promoting competition to lower costs to help small businesses.
So to create competition, right, with the goal of lowering the cost for the consumer. That's what he just said. Let's keep it going.
It's a contrast to the policies of 1980s President Ronald Reagan. He saw tax cuts as the key to wealth creation.
Okay.
To reduce the enormous burden of federal taxation.
Instead, Biden wants to tax the wealthy more to fund investment.
Okay.
The economy that grows the economy from the middle out, the bottom up, instead of just the top down. When that happens, everybody does well.
He aims to funnel money to priority areas like chip making, clean energy, and electric cars. That's meant to...
Now, when they say funnel money, that's the investment portion. Okay, here we go.
Revive manufacturing and put U.S. workers first.
Okay.
Made in America. Made in America. Not a slogan. It's actually happening.
So he's saying that, hey, we want more jobs in America. You want with the investments, you want manufacturing to stay here or come back, so that our workforce, who are Americans, begin to make products for Americans. Right? Here we go. Let's keep going.
So is it working? It's too early to say for sure.
Okay.
Republican critics point to stubbornly high inflation.
Okay.
And even White House aides say public deficits could get worse before they get better.
Okay.
Biden responds that growth rates lead the developed world and claims huge success on job creation.
Okay. So
There's 13.4 million new jobs.
Okay, big number.
More jobs in 2 years
Okay.
than any president has ever made in 2.
As for what voters make of it, not much, so far at least. Polls show just 35% of Americans approve of Biden's economic policies. Their final version.
So here's the big thing about it right there. We're going to go ahead and end it right there, guys. So at the end, you hear the narrator say, hey, the Americans are not 35% of them are approving this. So that means 65% is saying what you're trying to accomplish ain't happening. Interesting. Okay, so what is the administration saying about Bidenomics? Don't you worry. Let's bring them in, guys. Let's bring them in, and let's go ahead and bring in the economic advisor for the president. Let him tell us what's going down. He went on CNBC. No problem with it at all. To see what's going on. Let's see what he says. Let's see what he says. Here we go. Let's go, guys. Let's dive into this real quickly. Let's see exactly what they say. Here we go.
Chairman of the President's Council of Economic Advisors. Jared, thanks for joining us. It's good to see you this morning.
Okay.
What is the message that you're bringing us today, as you do, from all the president and all of his men? What do you want to?
Okay.
What point do you want to make? And then we'll talk about some of the other men and women. Yes.
Well, let's start with Jan, who's a great economist. I know you have Jan on frequently.
Okay.
He's a prize-winning forecaster. The reason he gave for the markdown from 20 to 15%, which, by the way, 15% is the unconditional probability of a recession at any given time, were three factors: encouraging news on inflation, favorable real income, which of course is related to encouraging news on inflation,
okay,
and what they call over at Goldman the closing of the job worker gap, meaning kind of cooling in the labor market, realigning supply and demand. So I think the overall macro message from our space is that Bidenomics in action is helping, it's working, it's helping to build the economy from the bottom up and the middle out, and the tight labor market better realigned, as Jan suggested.
Now, keyword, he said there was better realigned. We're going to dive into that a little bit as well. Again, listen to the words that people are saying, because there's definitions or meanings behind these words, okay? He's saying it's working. He's saying it is working. We're doing what we're supposed to be doing. We're finna see. Here we go.
The tight labor market is now supporting real wage gains. That is wages beating prices. That feeds into disposable income, consumer spending, and you have this virtual cycle that I think led to Goldman's downgrade.
We had.
So it seems like what the president and them are doing right now, the administration, is what they're saying is they're leaning upon what Goldman Sachs is actually saying concerning the economy, right? Goldman Sachs is saying this. So we haven't seen any numbers at all that he's talking about. He's saying what Goldman is saying. So he's leaning upon a third party to prove that this is working. And that's okay. No problem. Here we go. Let's go.
Couple of former senators on, Judd Gregg and Heidi Heitkamp, and I mentioned some of the.
So let's stop there. Let's stop right there, guys, because it's a pretty long one. Now, guys, so you heard what the administration said, which is cool. No problem with it all. It is what it is. Let's get it in. Now, let's go ahead and do this here. Now, what is the media saying about this? What's the media saying? Well, let's go ahead and see what the media is doing real fast, y'all. The media is, let's go here. This is a contributor from MSNBC, right? He's saying that it is working. That's what he's saying. He said it is working. So let's go ahead and see what he's saying. We're going to get everybody a fair shake. Here we go. Let me get rid of this real quick. This is what the media is saying. Here we go.
Economy is the worst it's been for 40 years. But it isn't. Don't take my word for it. Look at the numbers. Number one, jobs. Unemployment is at 3.5%. It's been below 4% for 17 months in a row. Joe Biden has added more than 12 million jobs to the economy. No president has done that before in a single 4-year term. Number two, manufacturing. We now have a boom in infrastructure spending, and that's according to Morgan Stanley Bank. They say we have a boom as a result of Joe Biden's Bipartisan Infrastructure Act, as a result of his Chips and Science Act, as a result of his Inflation Reduction Act. Let's talk about number three, growth. Growth is up. It exceeds expectations quarter after quarter. In fact, Bloomberg said there was a 100% chance of a recession this year. Guess what? We haven't had a recession. There's no recession in sight. Number four, inflation. Inflation was at record levels last year, but now it's down to 3%. It's gone down 12 months in a row. And number five, wages. Real wages are up. Workers are benefiting. Income inequality is actually falling. When you look at the numbers, Bidenomics is nothing short of a miracle right now.
So my man's in them is saying that Bidenomics is a miracle. Like he killing the game. He's saying, man, he talked about jobs, manufacturing, growth, and wages. I mean, he said he killing the game. He said, man, this is a miracle. I mean, we should be giving a hand clap of praise. That's what he's saying. That's exactly what my man's in them said. Okay, let's dive into these numbers, guys. Let's get it in. Here we go. Now, guys. Now, let's look at the numbers. Let's look at the numbers and see what is going on here. Okay, guys, let's look at the numbers real quickly. Okay, now let's bring in something actually happened concerning definitions, because the MSNBC guy just talked about how all these numbers on jobs, manufacturing, growth, and wages. But there's been some, as I say, some massaging of the numbers, definitions, so to speak. So let's bring in somebody else again. I want to bring these guys in. I want to bring in experts, active people that are in the market right now. Okay, in the market, and we're going to talk about real world numbers. Not what someone actually says on a news network. Real world numbers. A lot of the financial people that you actually see, the financial companies like the JP Morgan Chase, Goldman Sachs, things of that nature, nothing wrong with those companies at all, but they're huge. They have huge advertising budgets for those networks. Okay, so again, no worries. That's fine. That's called business. But let's look at the numbers. Okay, look at them. Here we go. This is Patrick McDavid, acting and versed like your partner. And I want you to hear what's going on with these numbers. With the numbers. Okay, here we go. Let's see what Patrick had to say about this here.
People are concerned, confused, and wondering what the hell is going on with inflation because they're saying inflation is going lower, but just in Q1, they announced 270,000.
Stop right there. So in Q1, U.S. employers announced 270,416 cuts in first quarter. Interesting. That's not a good sign at all. Let's keep going. Let's keep going. So again, that's the jobs thing. We're not done with that. We're gonna come back to the jobs too. Don't worry about it. Let's keep going. Here we go.
1,000 job cuts by U.S. employers, up 396%.
That's up 396% from 2022. Wait a minute. I'm getting some conflicting information here. Let's keep going. Let's keep going. Let's keep going.
Above last year, same time, 5 times more. The last time we had something like this, if you take out COVID, was 2009.
Wow.
Yet people are starting to realize just this year, 2 or 3 months ago, they changed something in the Bureau of Labor Statistics.
So hold on. Come on back to your partner. Come back to the partner. I got to ask you a common sense question. If the media and what the economic advisor to the president is saying that it's working, great, wonderful, it's helping the middle class, everything is well, wages is up, job growth, all this. I got to ask you a quick question. Why the hell are you changing calculations? And then you also changed the definition of a recession. The definition of a recession is 2 consecutive quarters of negative GDP. Well, in the first portion of the Biden administration, they changed the definition. They changed it. So, and then now we're changing numbers when it comes to the inflation rate. If it's going so well, what is the need to change anything? Unless you bullshit. Let's keep going. Let's keep going. Let's keep going. And no thing. No problem. Here we go.
Statistics on the way they measure inflation, and
bro.
people are starting to realize why they did it, to not get people to be concerned. Wait till you see some of this data
listen.
in today's episode.
So coming back to your partner real fast. Come back to your partner real fast, guys. Is Patrick is going to go into what he's talking about. Now, I've shown this before in the past Countermove podcast, but I have to revisit this because it's in lockstep with Bidenomics, what's been said. So again, this is real world data, not theory, real world data. Okay, here we go.
Small business owners today need a little bit more fun. I don't know what they're going to place like.
Oh, here we go.
You guys got 4 additional steps to secure the channel. So they're telling us in /PBD. So if you get value from the video, give it a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. So they're telling us inflation today is 6.5%, give or take. Yeah, inflation's fine at 6.5%. It's not really as bad as you think it is. And a lot of people are confused saying, how is that even possible? Because chicken's up 10.5%.
Chicken, up 10.5%. I thought it's supposed to be helping people. Inflated costs ain't helping nobody. Again, my bad. So keep going.
Butter is up 26%. Wow. Milk is up 50%. Egg 170% in certain markets. Coffee 13%. Wow. Baby food 10%. Wow. Rice and pasta 15%. Bread 15%. How is it possible?
Right there. Stop right there. I am confused, guys. I am confused. If last time I checked, higher pricing does not help the middle class. Let me say it again for the folk in the back row, and come to your partner real fast. Higher pricing does not help the middle class. It helps nobody. But the goal was to make investments, which means you're going to get ROI, also to help the middle class, right? And also, right, when it comes to education of that nature, and also what President Biden actually said. He said also he wanted to create competition so we can lower costs. Competition doesn't raise costs. It lowers costs. But this is not what's happening. Hey, let's keep going, guys. We're not done. Let's keep going. Here we go.
If all of these things are up the way they are, for you to say inflation is only up 6.5%. Yet if you go to the official versus the shadow stats of how we
look at that. Look at that. Look at it right there. Let's listen what Patrick got to say. All right, here we go.
Used to measure inflation, you will notice if you look at the blue versus the red, red shows that inflation is only 6.5%. But blue, the top, shows we're somewhere between 13 to 14% inflation. But this isn't the only thing that you have.
13 to 14% inflation? Like real data. Not the massage data, real data. Okay? Real. Tangible. Let's keep going.
You have to see what happened. Just this year, if you go on the BLS website, U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics, they announced something very quietly. I don't know if you heard about it or not. Matter of fact, I'd love to know if you heard about it. If you did, comment below. It said, beginning with the January 2023 index, scheduled for publication on February 14, 2023, BLS plans to update the spending weights in the calculation of the CPI every year instead of every 2 years. So you may say, I don't get it. What's the big deal with that? Let me explain to you what the big deal of this and just kind of see the optics. If you look at the historical rates, we're just going to go back 5 years. Do you see that? How it goes January, February, March, all the way down to December and the years? So the old way of measuring inflation, let's just look at February of 2023. It says it's 6%, right? So if we do the old way of how much inflation is higher, you would measure it from 6% to February of 2021. And they would have to say inflation is up 4.3%. Then
right there. So right there, he's talking about with the regular way, inflation's up 4.3%. With the regular, let's hit it again for the folk in the back row. Let's see it again. Here we go.
And they would have to say inflation is up
4.3%. Inflation's up. Watch the smoke and mirrors. Here we go.
3% than what it was 2 years ago versus the new way of measuring it. They have to go from February, which is 6%, to last year, which was 7.9%, and they get to say the magical words. Look at our policies. Inflation is down 1.9%. And you and I sit there on TV and we hear a president say this, and you say, I don't understand how. How can you say something like this? Well, it is because of our phenomenal policies. Inflation is down. And we have to say, all right, I'm just not feeling it. Maybe it's me. Maybe others are not.
No, it's not you. It's not you. It's not you at all, guys. Take that in. I know. So it seems to be, when we look at what the administration is saying, coupled with the media, and then you gauge it against real world data, we're getting two different sets of facts. On the media and administration side, what we're getting is numbers based on adjustments in the calculations and definitions. Number two, when it comes to the real world side, we're getting raw data based on the normal calculations. So, if the goal is for investments to yield an ROI, right? Policies that help the middle class, right? And then competition to lower down cost for the middle class, right? Based on the raw data, they ain't happening. Sorry, we're not done though. We're not done. Let's bring somebody else in, guys. Bring somebody else in to this real quickly, guys. Now, let's go. That's a real live investor. Now let's go to the valuetainment team. All right, we're still looking at the numbers. Okay, we have the numbers now. So look at the numbers. Let's go to the valuetainment team. Now they're talking about Kevin O'Leary went on and began talking about the economy. Okay, and what's going on. This is Tom. I met Tom. Tom is a good guy. He's a very smart investor as well as advisor. Know him, good guy. But let's see exactly what's going on here, guys. And we're going to talk about this was done this week, right? This video is this week. And we're going to see again what the administration is saying with the media and actual raw data. And let's go.
economy. So setting aside from Chicken Little grabbing headlines, setting aside from he's actually as a service bureau and getting paid on the employee retention credit, there's a little conflict of interest there. He's right about the economy and small business. Credit cards are at $1 trillion.
Stop right there. Credit cards are up. I'm confused. I'm confused, guys. If it's working, right? If the economy is working, and goal number 2 for the president was to lower the cost for create competition, to lower the cost for the middle class and to help the middle class. Why? Again, I'm a fruits guy. You will know them by their fruits. Why is credit card borrowing up? Up. Simple. That's what you call manufacturing a pay raise, right? Because the savings of individuals are at an all-time low. By the exact same time, inflation is up, as well as the cost of goods and services, because inflation is up. The CPI, the CPI is up, the PPI is up, the producer price index, that's up because it's costing more for the producer, so they're passing that cost on to the consumer. It's simple economics. It's business. Let's keep going. Here we go.
Job growth is actually slowing. Interest rates are for houses, even for good credit, around 8% now for a 30-year fixed. And the housing sales is slow, not coming back. And he's right. When those interest rates are up there, can you imagine what it's like for a small business person if it's an 8% mortgage and a mortgage member is backed up with a collateral called the house?
Yes.
Well, small business people walking in are looking at 10, 11, and 12%.
He's right. He is right, guys. That's called a conventional mortgage. Okay, that means you're putting down more than 3.5%. Anyone that's a small business owner, right? Their interest rates are a 9, 10, 11, 12%. And they're putting more money down, right? It's crazy. Now, that's at a 700 credit score. If you're going FHA, 3.5% down, your interest rate is 8.5%. I mean, but again, I thought the goal was to help the middle class. How is higher interest rate helping people? I'm confused. Jobs being cut, and the jobs that the president is touting about, guys. Are you seeing this? I ain't gonna say that at all. I'm gonna let somebody else tell you that when it comes to the jobs. Let's keep going with Tom was saying. Here we go.
Loans right now from banks. So he's right about that. And we already know about the commercial real estate that's going to be pinching the regional banks, and the big banks are just going to buy them up for discounted big stacks of.
The reason why he's pointing out commercial real estate, guys, is because of the fact that those regional to small banks do a lot of commercial real estate financing. A lot. I know 2 chairmen and CEOs of 2 regional banks. I know them. They do a lot of commercial real estate. They are financing. They're turning back on that. They are. And what's going to happen is people can't pay those mortgage payments. Guess who's going to come in to buy those? The big boys for discounted price points. Because the banks, regional banks, want to get off the balance sheet. It's simple. No, here we go.
Commercial real estate. So he's right about that. And I think that what we're seeing here is inflation still being stubborn at about 3.5%. We're going to get another quarter point in one of the 2 upcoming meetings of the Fed, which means.
So again, I'm stopping, guys, just for a second. How is the economy of these policies helping people, and the Fed has to continue to raise the interest rate? How is that helping people? If the goal is to help people, how is higher cost helping people? That's a logical question. Am I tripping? Let a player know. This don't make no damn sense. Let's keep going, guys.
That the interest rates aren't going to go down anytime soon. So there's a lot of truth in what he's saying is that the end of Q3 and going into holiday season, I'd like to know, and I'm waiting with bated breath to see what Black Friday is going to look like with credit cards already at $1 trillion. It feels like the consumer is running out of gas.
Yes.
And he's right. Those consumers who are running small businesses got to fund their own stuff too.
I like you gave sort of a...
Stop right there, guys. Oh, my word. Because typically what happens, guys, a lot of the times is on Black Fridays, guys. I think that's after Thanksgiving. there's a buying frenzy because the sales and a lot of the buying actually happens on credit cards. Credit card debt is at an all-time high, and you're going to see in a second there's been some defaults on those credit cards. Again, how is this helping people? And what investments did we make? I know what they are. And what's the ROI on those investments? We never get that number. We never do. All we get is a bunch of hot air, no matter if it's a Democrat or Republican in there. What's been the return on the investment? Come on, if you're going to use the word investments, we got to use investment type of vocabulary to gauge the return on the investment. It's simple. How is higher costs everywhere helping the middle class? And where's the competition at? It seems to be that the competition is the small banks versus the regional banks versus the big banks. And right now, what's happening right now is the big banks are like looking at chops saying, we finna win this. Let's keep it going, guys, man. Let's keep it going. Now, let's bring in somebody else now. Let's bring in my man, Glenn Beck. He actually did a section on this as well when it comes to the, he's gonna touch on the jobs. Okay, here we go. Let's see exactly what Glenn Beck talking about real fast, guys. And don't be confused or look at, I don't like Glenn Beck. Just look at the data. Look at it. Here we go.
The incredible lies from this administration are insane because they're asking you to deny your own eyes. You remember when Donald Trump said there were millions of people at my inauguration, and we saw the pictures. You can't deny what you see and what you know.
Exactly. That was a lie too. But let's keep going.
Last week, the Commerce Department admitted that the economy isn't actually growing as they said it was.
What?
The previously stated GDP was growing at 2.4%.
Look at this.
Okay, not bad. Biden took a victory lap. Bidenomics is working. Until they revised it, the economy grew only at 2.
So hold on. Let's pause right here, guys. They estimated 2.4, and the administration began talking about, look what we've done, and then there's a revision to 2.1%. This is the Bureau of Economic Analysis. So this is not Glenn Beck putting it out his ass. This is coming from the administration. The Commerce Department had to revise the numbers. Again, theory, hot air, raw data. Okay? Here we go.
0.1%, 0.3 of a point. It's not a small number when you're talking about the GDP.
Wow.
But how they screw that up?
So again, if it's working, how is the GDP going down? Not up, down. If it's working, it doesn't make any fiscal sense. Here we go.
Unless the subterfuge was the intent all along. If it was one time, maybe, but the shadiness doesn't end with just the Biden Commerce Department. Jobs has been one of Biden's main talking points. We're creating jobs. He likes to say he's created more jobs than any other president in history. We all know that's a bull crap claim because when he came in, everything was closed, the pandemic. But have you seen the recent...
So what Glenn is saying there, he's saying that when President Biden came into office, everything was closed. And so what he's talking about is this here. He's saying that when President Biden got in office, everything was closed, right? And when he got back, he just added back the jobs that were taken away because of the shutdown of the economy. So President Biden is saying, look at the jobs I've added. You didn't add anything at all. What you did was just added jobs that were already there, but the government forced them to be gone. They forced them to lose their jobs. That's not a net gain. Now you're back even. That's like someone saying, yo, man, I had a property that I actually acquired and I was losing $300 a month. Now, man, what's going on, bro? I'm only losing $100 a month. I gained $100. Technically, you're right, but you're still losing money. This is not hard to understand. I mean, this is laughable. Let's keep going. Here we go, guys. Here we go. Let's keep it going, guys. He's not done.
Recent revised jobs report from the Labor Department.
Another revision.
Yeah. So far in this fiscal year, they have overestimated jobs.
Look at this. Overestimated 209, revised down to 105. Look at this. Yes. Okay, January 517, revised to 504, revised to 472. All right. Look at where's the growth at? Where is the growth? Where? Negative 13. Where is the growth? It's going down every quarter. Where is the growth? Am I tripping? Let's see what Glenn's talking about.
Job growth by 325,000 positions.
God.
Look at the end of the month in June. They originally stated we gained 209,000.
Look at this. Look at all these revisions. Look at the revisions. What's going on here? Come on, y'all. Come on, man. We got to call a spade a spade. Come on.
Jobs. Number was revised to 105. How did you overestimate jobs in 1 month by over $100,000?
So hold on. Hold on. We overestimated, or the administration overestimated jobs over 100,000 jobs in 1 month. Overestimated. How did we do? Who is running this? I don't understand. I thought we was growing. Again, I have to revisit. President said investments, right, to the infrastructure. We have yet to hear a return on investment. 2, we're gonna lower the cost, create competition. Create competition, right, to lower the cost for the consumers. And 3, to grow the middle class. He said from instead of top down, bottom up, middle out. Y'all, I don't know what I don't see any growth here. I see decline. All right, I see decline. Let's keep going, guys. We're not done, y'all. We're not done. Again, I want to make sure, guys. that we get everything right. We got to bring on somebody else. All right, this is Dan Bongino, guys. Again, raw data, facts, raw data, raw. Okay, not spin, not innuendo, rawness. Let's see what's going on with this here. All right. I like Dan because he begins optimistic. Then he gives the prescription of what's really going on. Here we go.
When I say it, or I wouldn't say it. I really do think we're on the verge of a serious and sincere economic renaissance.
Okay.
If we can control and get a hold of AI, material sciences, quantum mechanics, we've got a bunch of things going on right now. New cancer drugs. What is it, that AOH drug or whatever? This stuff is all popping. Yes. It's all popping now. If we can harness it and not get crazy. Even energy technology, you're seeing new kinds of superconductors, cold fusion breakthroughs. We are on the verge of really big things.
Yes.
So I don't want you to be super depressed, but I just want you to understand right now, the economy's not good. Matter of fact, I would say to you, the economy's really bad. Is it the worst it's been in the last 20 years? No, it isn't. Is it getting there? It is. And a series of headlines based on facts should spur you to action that we need to change in 2024.
Okay.
Here's the first headline, just the news. Alarm grows as jobs and GDP data are revised downward. Ladies and gentlemen, the GDP, gross domestic product, how the country is growing, what we produce, gross domestic product, production is going down. They're being revised downward under Biden. Jobs are starting to decrease.
Again, I'm confused. I'm confused. If the goal is to grow the middle class, bottom up, middle out, how does revisions down, making things cost more, allow you to grow? I'm confused by that. But hey, let's keep going, guys. Let's see what Dan's talking about.
And the number of jobs we're producing, and even worse, the jobs we're producing are not very good. Okay. Oh, you may say that's just the news, John Solomon's site.
Okay,
yeah. John's a relatively conservative guy. All right, fair enough. Sure. Although John's site's one of the best news sites out there.
Sure.
Here's the Washington Post. You don't believe me? Here's the communist left-leaning Washington Post. U.S. deficit explodes even as economy grows. How is that, Joe? How is that? Didn't Karine Jean-Pierre and Biden, didn't they tell us they've reduced the deficit? Well, we've told you, of course, for the last year and a half. They're lying. The deficit is actually exploding, and they're making that up. Here's the Washington Post. The federal deficit's projected to double this year. I thought they were bringing it down. Well,
Washington Post.
They're bullshitters. I don't know what to tell you. And folks, here's the worst part about the whole thing. That this $1 trillion plus deficit we're running. That this is happening not during wartime. Meaning if there's an emergency and we need to borrow money to finance the military machine, we don't have it. We are out. We're done. We're out of money. Red state, credit card and car loan defaults hit a 10-year high.
Here we go.
As Bidenomics continues its path of economic destruction. What do you think these headlines?
Again, y'all, I'm confused. I thought the goal was to grow and cut costs. That was the goal. I'm not seeing that in the raw data. Let's keep going.
Lines are made up. You think Mike Miller at Red State just pulled this out of his ass? Like, let me just write a fake article about this. This stuff is all happening. Here's MRC TV, Craig Bannister. Higher spending and lower tax revenue overwhelm economic growth to skyrocket the deficit. The deficit surged in 2023 despite economic growth. In the first 10 months, we borrowed $1.6 trillion. $1.6 trillion in 10 months.
Wow.
We're not even done with the year yet.
Jesus.
Don't worry, folks. We're rocking and rolling right now. Here's Axios next.
Here we go.
We're still adding to the debt. Axios. Notice how I use left-wing sites in this too?
Yep.
Axios, the Washington Post. In case you think I'm making this up and Joe Biden's telling you the truth. Deficits and debt are going down. That's totally, completely made up. It's a lie.
Yes.
Rising interest rates make America's fiscal arithmetic worse. They note that the numbers wouldn't be terrible if we were bringing in more tax revenue than we were spending. But this is Axios. But that's not the case. Instead of a surplus, the CBO projections include a 3% primary deficit over the decade.
This is crazy.
In other words, it's not just the math of servicing the debt that's getting worse. The government's still adding to it.
This is just...
But don't worry, folks. Here's Biden's economic czar, Jared Bernstein.
So we've started already. Now, my word, guys. They mentioned something about deficit, right? Debt, right? Debt. Okay. Now, guys, let's look at the debt. All right, guys. Let's go to our old trusty guys at the debt clock, guys. All right, here we go. Let's look at them real fast. I'm gonna make myself a little bit lower. Now here we go. This is the debt clock, guys. Directly from them. Now watch this. Look at this here. The national debt is $32.9 trillion. I want you to focus on two sections though. Okay, right here. It says, and I'm gonna make it bigger for the folk in the back row because I want y'all to be able to see what's going on. All right, make it bigger. Now watch this, guys. Right, the federal revenue is $4.468 trillion. That's why it's in green. It is in green. Right now, watch this, guys. Now, the U.S. federal spending official is $6.3 trillion. So we are bringing in 4.4, but we're spending 6.3. That's a deficit of $1.9 trillion. Facts. Data. Facts. Raw data. Let's stop the game, guys. Let's stop this game. Let's stop it. Look at this, guys. We're spending 6.3 trillion and we're only bringing in 4.4 trillion. That's almost a $2 trillion deficit. I thought they cut the budget. I'm sorry. I thought they cut the deficit. I thought. He can't say about 1.7 trillion. Huh? Where? Where was the cut at? I'm confused. This don't make no damn sense. Where? My word, guys. Total debt to GDP ratio. Total. Notice it's in red. 135%. That is, we are upside down on the debt. We owe more than we're bringing in. That's called upside down. Numbers, data, facts, rawness. Okay? Let's stop this game. This is unsustainable, guys. Let me say it again for the folk in the back row, y'all. Again, spending 6.3 trillion, right here, right there. Bringing in 4.4 trillion. That's this. Man, this is unsustainable, guys. Whoo! That was a lot of information we had to go through, guys. Man, guys. But hey, what's my reaction, guys? I'm going to go through the goals that President Biden actually said, right? I'm going to go through them goals. Let me go back to it because I actually want him to say it himself, right? I want him to say it himself. Here we go. Let's bring President Biden back on real fast, y'all, and let's refute this together. All right. Here I'm going to live react to this right now. This is what President Biden said. Here we go.
It's working.
It's working.
Once there was Reaganomics, but what exactly?
Making smart.
Bidenomics. The man himself has a definition.
Okay, let's see.
First, making smart investments in America. Second.
Stop right there. We know what were those investments? I think it was the Inflation Production Act, not Reduction, Production Act, and the CHIPS Act, right? What has been the return on those investments? What was the revenues? Can we get an answer to that? Because we ain't got not one answer to that at all. Because you said investments, which means there should be a return on that investment. What's been the return? Good question. Let's keep going. Number 2.
Second, educating and empowering American workers to grow the middle class. And third. Okay.
So educating and empowering the middle class to grow the middle class. What he just said, right? What he just said. I'm confused. If everything costs more, right? Inflation, the real inflation numbers are up. The cost of goods and services are up. The PPI, producer price index is up. The CPI, because of the PPI, that's up. Consumer price index, that's up. Everything is up. In the inflation is up. Interest rates is up, right? How is more expensive things or cost of goods growing the middle class? I'm confused. And here's number 3.
Promoting competition to lower costs to help small businesses.
So here's my question then. Here's my question, President Biden. You just said that it's to create competition to lower costs. I'm confused. Everything costs more. So how are your policies bringing prices down? All I've seen in the banking sector is this here, is who's benefiting from this? The big banks, because the regional and small banks do a lot of financing of commercial property. Well, those are going underwater, and guess who's going to buy those properties realistically at a discount price point? The big boys. You create competition, right? You manufacture competition to where the big banks get bigger and the small ones are trying to survive. That's what's really going on. So, is your policies working? Hell no. This is a crap show right now. Let me say it. It's a shit show. It don't make no sense. Everything you just ironed out, your goals, you have failed on unless your goal was to achieve what has actually happened in the economy. Higher costs, competition, manufactured by the government to where the government gets to pick and choose who wins it and who does not. Right? That makes some sense. And you made investments into these places, and there's been no return on investment because the goal was not to get an ROI. The goal was for the money to flow to specific places. So if that was your true intention goal, you're killing it. But what you just communicated, the top three things, you're failing miserably. I gotta be honest. You're failing miserably. This has been a shit show. It really has. All right, guys. That's my reaction. Now, what's the counter move for you guys? All right. I always say, guys, real simple. Peep it, sweep it, and keep it. All right. Number one, I always begin with this. Examine your current situation. Let me ask you this question, because decisions are made at the kitchen table. How do you think the economy is going? We heard in the previous video, 35% of Americans are like, it's cool. 65% of them saying this is trash. So, are you okay with things costing more? Are you okay with inflation outpacing your wages? Right? Are you okay with actually having more credit card debt and less in savings? Are you okay with that? If you're okay with that, keep it moving. If you're not, you got to make some decisions now. Right? Number two, how secure is your money-making strategy? Let's keep it a band, guys. You actually saw the debt clock. I'm going to keep it real with you. Then the Congress is not going to stop printing. So I would think it's wise for you to conclude that pricing is going to continue to go up, right? Because the debt's going to go up, right? So what is your strategy? Your money-making strategy for you to make more money. And again, I'm not saying get another job. What I'm saying is, what education are you getting to begin to transform your thinking to where you can begin to look at other money-making opportunities, right? For you to begin to win in the inflation game and not let inflation beat you, right? Stop being a slave to politicians' decision-making, and you begin to take control of your own life, right? So re-examine your money-making strategy. Number three, while you are re-examining that money-making strategy, start thinking generationally. 3 steps, 3 generations ahead of you, right? Begin doing that. Once you begin doing that, guys, ideas begin to flow. The most powerful thing a man can have is a vision and an idea. Okay? That's the most powerful thing, because once you begin to have a vision, guys, things open up, because vision begins to choose what books you read, how much TV you watch, your network, your friends, what movies you watch, what music you listen to, what company you keep, right? You have to begin to transform your perspective, or you're going to still be held hostage by the decision making of these, what I call them, professional talkers. That's what they are. They're professional theorizers. They just theorize about anything. No real world experience. None. They just theorize everything. It's all theory. It's what it is. So begin thinking generation. 3 steps ahead of you. A wise man plans for his children's children. Right? Real simple, guys. But guys, I would say this here. Starting a business is essential to defeating inflation. Let me say it again for the folk in the back row. Starting a business is essential for you to defeat inflation. Starting a business is. Right, guys? So again, begin thinking about what problem you want to solve. Come up with a solution to solve that problem for the masses and take it to market. Right? If you need some assistance, holler at your partner. If I can help you, I'll point you in the right direction. No problem, guys. But man, guys, give me your thoughts. This was a kind of a long one. That's all good. Give me your thoughts. Let me know what you think about it, guys. And was this helpful? Guys, man, thank you so much for your time. God bless you. And I always say this here, guys, is this here. Oh, before I do this, guys, if you ever want to talk to me, anybody on my squad, his QR code. You're welcome to schedule time for wealth management. Okay, and we'll begin to really examine your strategy, your making money strategy, right? It may be real estate, it may be a home business, it may be in the financial services arena, it may be in a brick and mortar business, it may be in any type of circle. I've grown more, guys, when I invite in wise counsel. This is just the opportunity for you to invite in wise counsel, and it's free. It's no cost you no money. Talk to us. It's free. It's free. But guys, man, thank you so much for your time. God bless you. Every single Friday, guys, we actually have a show called Somewhere in the Middle with Suni and Mo, guys. Love them to death, man. They are very entertaining, guys. Every single week, I play this video, guys. Check them out real fast. Here we go. Do I have it? Yes, here we go.
Now we're about to get I went down. Facts on facts on facts. Hello.
So Somewhere in the Middle, guys, with Suni and Mo, guys, every Friday. Check them out, guys, at 9 p.m. EST, 8 p.m. CST. Check them out. Great show, great talent on the TITM media group. Good partners of mine, guys. Love them to death, guys. They're funny, and you can just have a good time on Friday, guys. But guys, thank you so much for your time, guys. You know I end it every single week. Before you leave, and while you can, you see that thing, guys, take that damn picture and give it to your mama now. Now say it when you're chatting with your partner, and holler at your partner. See you next week, guys. Peace.